Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your SmackDown review. This show, man. Wow. Especially after Raw was somewhat eventful. I mean, could they have made this any more boring and by the numbers and just unappealing? We started off with Becky Lynch, I know Wade Keller loves this, the motivational promos, just saying she worked so hard and all that. It's, very cookie cutter, a very typical babyface promo, but, whatever. So you got Carmella coming out there, and she does this spiel. She doesn't even do her normal voice. They got rid of the Staten Island accent here. She comes out and she's like, "Not a lot of people like me on social media. They say that I'm not deserving of the title, and that people love you, Becky, even though really no one is even cheering for her in the arena." So and then she attacks Becky. Like, she did this whole routine, and they've been doing this. She's been doing this ever since they gave her the belt, and it was the same idea with Alexa Bliss. She was also doing these same exact promos, like pretending, like she's sorry for her actions and everything, and she does like this different type of voice, and then all of a sudden she would start like laughing. She didn't do that this time. This time it was like they had her burying herself, saying, "Oh, that I'm not deserving of the title." It's very strange. They keep on repeating this same type of thing over and over again. I could see, like when they did it the first time around, it was like a fake, like a little bit of a fake out when they did it with Alexa Bliss on Raw, and then they rewrote the same segment. Well, not even rewrite it. It was like copy and paste, and they did the same thing for Carmella over on SmackDown. You always see this, from Raw to SmackDown. I mean, like, why waste time, making these shows like feel like individual shows? Why not just take the same concepts and just, paste them on to the SmackDown brand? They did it with the titles. I mean, look how the women's title looks exactly like the Raw title. For the women and even for the men, it looks basically the same. It's just a color swap, right? It's basically like the same thing. So why have, individuality between the shows? Why have, differentials and stuff? Just make it the same thing. Don't try to be creative or try to, make things unique or exclusive to each brand. Let's just have the same thing. And when the promos are the same, and not only that, I'm not even saying that they just, copied that for Carmella. She's done this same thing, the same type of device in the promo where she tries to fool the crowd by making like she's remorseful for her actions, and then she does the ha ha ha, starts cackling. This time she didn't even do that. This time it was almost like a sad kind of promo. Like they were saying, like, "Oh, Carmella doesn't deserve to have the championship. She'll probably lose it at SummerSlam, and then it's gonna look sad. We'll all look back on this promo. We'll be like, oh, it was just depressing leading into SummerSlam." But is anyone even gonna remember the promo? Probably not. Does anybody remember anything that happens in this company? No. So, the same type of thing has been done on SmackDown for months now. And she's only had the belt for like 3 months, and they've done the same promo like maybe once every 3 weeks with the little fake out thing that she does. So that's getting really tiresome. So Charlotte actually ends up coming to save Becky. So, it can't just be, that it's Becky versus Carmella for the title. They can't just have because, like I always say, they can't just have anybody just feuding one on one. They always have to throw in a bunch of other little side feuds or whatever. So we all see what's gonna go with this. They're gonna have Charlotte's gonna get the title, then Becky is gonna be jealous, and one of them is obviously gonna turn heel, and that's probably gonna be Charlotte. It should be Charlotte. Hopefully not the other way around, because Charlotte was 10 times better as a heel. And I'm not saying she can't be an effective babyface, but with the current creative team, they better just go whatever they're more comfortable with at this point. So obviously, the better route to take with them is to do the way how Charlotte was on Raw back in like 2016 when they were really kind of, I wouldn't say knocking out of the park, but they were doing a pretty good job with her, and she was taking care of herself on the mic, getting herself over as a heel on Raw. So, but they can't, this is what I'm saying about the pay-per-view that's coming up on Evolution. This is already a mess. You're throwing too many people into the same feud. It should be about simplicity. This is how it always was. We would never have like so many other people being thrown into a feud all at the same time. I thought the whole story that they're trying to tell here is Becky is the challenger, but now they're going to throw in this whole jealousy. And you would say that maybe that this could be a promising storyline. They could tell a pretty good story here. But they're not going to do that. That's what I'm saying here. Before you guys say, oh, this is intrigue, right? Don't you ask for storylines every week, Brad? I do, but when I already know from the offset that they're going to be disappointing, I'm not going to, do a review here and make like it's going to be anything but. So, it's better when they're not good at writing things that are more complex. They should probably try to keep it simplistic, but they're not gonna do that. So we're gonna end up just getting some triple threat match or something like that, or one girl's gonna turn on the other. It's gonna end up being predictable. It's gonna just end up, this is what I'm saying. How are they gonna do a whole pay-per-view when they could barely even tell one story without having some like deviation thrown in? It's like they got bored already with Becky, or I don't know where they got the idea that anybody wants to see her champion again. Because besides people doing the oh to her theme song, no one really cares about her. We don't even know a lot about Becky. She's, in my opinion, one of the most attractive girls on the roster. She's got a nice look to her. She does stand out. The goggles. She's got the whole steampunk thing going on. But they never even once talked about steampunk while she's been out there. Which is like, she obviously has some sort of gimmick, but we're not even told what that is. These girls just, they just feel like these are just female wrestlers. We don't know anything about them. We don't know who they are. We're not allowed to really explore any things about their personality or, what makes them individuals. They're just all just female wrestlers. And we're supposed to just appreciate them as female athletes. I'm sorry, but that might work for like the people who just want to pretend to support the women's wrestling just so it makes them look good on their channels here. But for the rest of us, we just kind of want a bit more substance. We don't want to just say, okay, we're having a female pay-per-view. That's all fine and well, but it would be nice if we could maybe have a bunch of these girls just have some personalities. So, when we watch the show, we could probably appreciate them even more instead of, just for the sake that they're just women. It would be nice, if they could act. But they can't even do that with the men, so why would it be any different with the women's division? So we've ranted on that enough. The Bar defeats the Usos. This tag tournament that they're having, it's like a tournament, but there's only like 4 teams involved. And, you had the Bludgeon Brothers appearing backstage, but they've been absent now since like, 2-3 weeks already since the pay-per-view. I've never seen well, I have seen it before, obviously, because they keep making the same mistakes. But you have a team. It's just like with the Authors of Pain. You have this team that basically writes themselves, the Bludgeon Brothers. They're big, they're tall, they're menacing. You don't even really have to try. Just have them come out there, be dominating, and just, But somehow, some way, they can't even figure out how to write them onto a TV show. And, they're not even interacting with any of the teams. They're having New Day out there being super annoying on commentary. How much longer are they going to carry this New Day out thing? I have never seen something so dragged out and last so long that, like, no one even cares about it anymore. I mean, man, they're pushing this whole thing to a whole new level with New Day. I mean, okay, I get it. They want to sell merchandise as much as they do, but I mean, like, they're just sacrificing so much time and just energy and just like, why are they continuing and insisting on putting them out there doing the same routine, throwing pancakes? And this time they were just like screaming into the mic, and oh my God, just, man, just end this gimmick already. I know that Big E could be a star. We've all heard this guy on the mic. We know that he stands out. We know that all he has to do is turn on Xavier Woods and Kofi, and we could have something interesting at least. Now, I know the current crop of, of writers on creative team will probably make it turn south anyway, but I mean, at least it would be something, for the time being that could just be a bit interesting on this show. Oh, man, but so, the Bar comes back. They've been gone for a few months. They weren't injured. It was just that they couldn't figure out what to do with them. They put them back on TV. And, okay, so, hopefully they beat New Day here. And they go on. They'll face the Bludgeon Brothers. But, I mean, I don't know, the Bar beating the Bludgeon Brothers, especially after, they've made the Bar look pretty bad. And we've seen this match. I mean, before they went off the air for so long, the Bar, after this 2-3 month hiatus, weren't they already wrestling New Day constantly? I can't even remember. I try to block this shit out, but I mean, we're gonna do the same match again. Oh God, I don't even know. Like, they've booked themselves into a corner for like the umpteenth time here. They put the belt on the Bludgeon Brothers, which is promising, but now they can't figure out what to do with them. So now, like, they're scrambling to find them reputable challengers, which they don't even have because they've done every single possible match already. So they booked themselves into a corner. Then we have Samoa Joe cutting a promo in AJ Styles. For some reason, AJ is just not there. I don't know if he's like supposed to be selling injuries last week for, just receiving a chokehold, but he's not there. People are saying that this was a great personal promo that was like, real vicious and well done. And I just got to say, I've heard this promo before like 1,000 times from Samoa Joe and TNA and ROH. I'm not really impressed. For people who are unfamiliar and, just want to just put Joe over, guys, the guy's been cutting the same promo for a decade and a half already. I'm not putting over a promo I've heard 10,000 times already. So sorry, unoriginal, uninspired, the same monotone, then switching to yelling style promo. I'm not putting it over. I'm not saying it's good. Because if I've already heard it 1,000 times, I'm sorry, I'm looking for originality at this point. Samoa Joe has worn these styles of promos out more than those trunks that he wears. I mean, nothing has changed about this guy since the days in TNA. I mean, Vince Russo tried to have him change by, like, painting his face a little bit, just kind of doing a little bit something different than what he was doing in ROH, but they've gone right back to doing the same thing. There's not anything that's changed about Samoa Joe. It's been the same thing since day one. And like I'm saying, I know it sounds hilarious and like I'm trying to make a joke here, but if you want to just look at how much Joe hasn't changed, look at the wrestling trunks he was wearing since his first day in ROH. To the trunks he's wearing, they're the same ones. And it's the same promos. It's the same moves. It's the same everything. Now, I'm not saying, okay, so there's wrestlers like Hulk Hogan who have done the big boot and the leg drop for years and years and years. Well, he's not Hulk Hogan. Some people could get away with doing the same shtick for a while, and then there's people like Samoa Joe who are just Samoa Joe. And I know some people like to make it like Samoa Joe was one of the greatest things ever, but he's simply not. I'm sorry, guys. He's just a big, fat, out-of-shape Samoan guy. He doesn't have any, Samoan lineage to any of the other wrestlers like The Rock or Roman Reigns or Rikishi or the Head Shrinkers. I'm sorry, or Superfly. No. He's just the Samoan wrestler was supposed to just accept him based on that he's Samoan, so he's naturally good. It's kind of like if a wrestler was Canadian. That type of thing was going around for a while. Oh, every wrestler from Canada is good. Okay, so it's like every wrestler from Samoa is good. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just this guy does not do a lot for me. Now, if he evolved and everything, I could at least say that he has intensity. Okay, so yes, he does have certain things that other people on the roster don't. He sure as hell cuts a better promo than Finn Balor. But, you know, he's also been doing it longer, I think, than Finn Balor. Maybe about the same. I don't know. You know, since he was the Prince, whatever his name was his previous name. Finn Balor was when he was in Japan, going under a different name. I forget, Prince, whatever it was. You know, Samoa, at least, you know, he changed a little bit, Finn Balor and whatever, and he did the demon and the experiment with certain things and trying to do the LBGT thing, whatever the case may be. Samoa Joe has never even once, like, ever tried anything different or tried to alter anything. Now, understand the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's been broke for a long time now. It's been tiresome. And something's got to change. There's that group, the Smarks love him. They don't care because they're only worried about, you know, what he does in the ring. And I'm sorry, but there's only so many times I could see Samoa Joe do his little kicks and his little chokehold. I'm sorry. You know, it's enough already with that shtick. I've had it up to here. I've been watching it for years, and I'm just not going to sit by and say I'm entertained by it anymore. I'm not going to sit there like a mindless drone and pretend to be entertained by something that I'm simply not. I'm not going to, you know, I'm sorry. Just, it's not entertaining to me anymore. It's tiresome. It's the same thing. You know, he's coasted by doing the same exact shtick time and time again. And I'm not going to just sit here and put it over like everybody else does in the YW. It's because I don't feel that way. It's not my opinion. I think it's tiresome. I think he needs to change. I think he needs a gimmick change. I think he needs an attire change. I think he needs a complete overhaul. Sorry to say. Jeff Hardy calls out Randy Orton. Orton comes out, you know, and he gets double teamed by Nakamurphy and Orton. I wasn't really understanding, like, why Orton was, like, rubbing the face paint on him. Oh, he's, like, exposing him. I don't know. They were trying to do some type of, like, metaphor that he's exposing Jeff Hardy. You know something, this is just odd to me. I just think back of Orton and, like, what he's done in this company, as he said in the promo last week, and I just think he should be just better used. I'm sorry, but I'm still looking at this as, like, a mid-card feud. These are two guys that have already won the main world championship. To see them, like, feuding over a secondary belt, it's hard for me to watch this. I'm sorry, I'm just not a noob here to this wrestling thing. So, like, to have me tune in here and I'm watching a guy that was wrestling Triple H for the world championship at a WrestleMania main event. I'm sorry, but I just can't then sit here years later and be like, I'm just perfectly fine with Randy Orton in a feud for the United States Championship. Yes, Randy Orton's not a spring chicken, so why would he even want to bother at this point in his career with a belt like that? You know, when he's feuding over it, it's not like he was doing what John Cena was doing with the U.S. belt, like giving these guys a chance to shine by doing the open challenge. This is just like going nowhere, basically. And you know, it's not even over a belt because he's not the champion. It's Nakamurphy, which Orton is not even attacking the champion when he wanted to pursue the title. Instead, he's going to just team up with the champion to beat up Jeff Hardy, who's not the champion. I just don't see it. I don't know what's going on. It's the sake of having a feud for having a feud. I don't understand. Like, just Orton at this stage in the game. I mean, I'll call him a legend. I will. I mean, the guy's done enough in this business, really, to prove his worth. He's made WWE enough money. He's made money for himself. And just to see him in this position, it's very out of place. I mean, he does a good job of being psychological. I said he's miles ahead of everybody else on the roster. This is why I just think he could be better used. Like, why are we not seeing AJ feuding with Orton over the title? Is it because the internet fans don't want to see that? I guarantee you, we would have gotten a better promo out of Randy Orton than we would have out of Samoa Joe. And you know what the funny thing is? That everybody complained that Orton would not evolve. And I've even gone on record saying that in the past, and my opinions have changed. I've gone to actually appreciate Orton because Orton and Samoa Joe are on two totally different levels. I look at the history of Randy Orton, and I see a far more entertaining history, a far more decorated history of moments that I enjoyed with Randy Orton versus Samoa Joe, where I don't really have a lot of fond memories of Samoa Joe. The fondest memories I have of Samoa Joe are of Scott Steiner calling him fat, which is, you know, Scott Steiner deserves all the credit for any of that stuff, basically. So, you know, and plus, you've got Orton, who's in 10 times better shape. You've got Orton, who looks more like a star. I'm not saying that Samoa Joe doesn't. Samoa Joe does have a look to him. He definitely has a certain presentation level that does make him stand out more than, say, a Finn Balor or a Sami Zayn. But I just got to really sit here and say that, you know, why are we not putting certain people in the title pick? Like, why are we not seeing a heel champion AJ Styles versus a babyface Jeff Hardy? Like, that match would be very over. That'd be a feud that the fans, that smart marks and like casuals could get behind, because you've already have Jeff Hardy, who's super over with everybody from Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression Era fans whenever you decide to become a fan of wrestling. I'm so confused at who's in what spot here on this roster, on these shows. Just nothing makes sense to me. I mean, Samoa Joe's just there because, you know, Wade Keller's been asking for a Samoa Joe feud and everything. And, you know, his panties get wet every time Samoa Joe gets on screen. Oh, Samoa Joe, he's so great. I love those intense promos that you've been doing for 18 years straight. Sorry, but I just have there's so much more promise. Like I said, you could actually have a good show using the current roster. It's just not using it properly. This is just like with TNA. I said it one time with TNA, it's such a great roster that they don't know how to use. There was a point where TNA could have been so much of a better show than WWE, but they failed to utilize the roster in an effective and productive manner. And, you know, that's basically what we're seeing right here, right now. Selena Vega defeated Lana. So, you know, Aiden English came out, but, you know, he just fucked things up. And then it was backstage. He's apologized. And, hey, yeah, I didn't talk about it last week, but Lana didn't have her accent at all. So she went from, you know, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's like a joke or they're trying to play with our hearing or it's like some little funny game that they're doing. It's a rib. Like, oh, is she going to have her accent this week or is she not going to have it this week? Oh, which one's it going to be, guys? I don't know. And I don't understand why they're doing this. Like there's no commitment to character here. It's like, one week she has an accent, the next week she doesn't. So just like don't have her have the accent. You know, it's like it's wrestling. You don't even need to explain it. There's so many other things that we haven't even explained that have happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? There's forgiveness here, obviously. You know, okay, so you've already exposed it on Total Divas. Like I said, in this social media age where they're all public on Twitter and everything, and they're even getting in trouble, and they're posing, and they're breaking kayfabe every minute of the day, why do we even bother having kayfabe? I said we could transcend to the next level in this product and just totally do away with the fantasy world and just have more realism, which everybody would probably want anyway, even when it came to the when it comes to the smart marks. Like, even those internet fans, they probably appreciate that even more because that's where they live, on the internet. So they would definitely probably appreciate a break from all these, you know, well, characters that we don't even have. But why even attempt to have any if you're not going to stay committed to it? So if it's all gonna, and you're gonna promote all this Instagram and Twitter stuff, and you might as well just forget about all of that and just make it all real world stuff. So stop it with the accent and everything. And oh, we don't know if we want to get rid of the accent or not. Like, okay, the whole thing is done already. I mean, you've already exposed them with the internet stuff. It got like Rusev in trouble, everything with the whole marriage and promoting it on Twitter, and then they wanted to exploit the relationship. Then we went from like Rusev, being the right hand man of Vladimir Putin, to then Rusev Day. Like, does anybody see how ridiculous it is? So like, why they're so hung up on Lana's accent, they can't decide what to do. Is just so mind-numbingly stupid to me. Just get rid of it. No one cares. The Miz and Daniel Bryan, this segment right here. I mean, it was just, this is not how I envisioned the feud. But then again, like I said, I should have always envisioned it this way, because I always knew they were going to fuck it up. They had so much, they should have just kept the writers out of this. Because this has the writers written all over it. This has McMahon written all over it. They're getting into verbal sparring and everything like this. And, since Daniel Bryan returned, guys, I just had to say this has got to be one of the worst returns ever. When Miz buried him last week, when he said, Monroe Sky had accomplished more than Daniel Bryan has since his return, I said it was like burying him verbally. It was like Brock Lesnar telling everybody that I don't watch the show. Why should I watch the show? It was basically the same thing. Him saying that. It's like, yeah, you guys fucked up. One of the most over wrestlers on your current roster, and you couldn't even figure out what to do with the guy. And it was so simple. It was like they should have just like put him back in the title picture right away. I mean, why would you put him in a feud with Big Cass? Why would you waste his time in these like medial feuds and everything like that? So here we are. We finally have the feud that they've danced around for months, for years even, if you want to look at it from that perspective, before he was even cleared to come back. They should have jumped on this feud right away, got it out of the way, and then put Bryan back in the main event, and it would have made perfect sense because he's the most over guy on SmackDown. Whether people want to admit to it or not, whatever it is. And I know people are like blown away because it's like I'm like I don't agree with anybody on the internet. Like I said, I'm not like the Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor fan. But people are confused, like, why do I like Daniel Bryan? And I guess, I haven't like reiterated in a while, so I'm going to reiterate it now. Bryan has a certain fire to him. Bryan also sells in the ring. Bryan also does things that a lot of people don't, that are more believable. I think Bryan looks more like a star than the rest of them. I've been following Bryan for a while. Maybe that because I started becoming a fan of the guy when I saw him as a heel champion in Ring of Honor, back when I used to attend the live shows. So maybe it's just me. But to me, when I saw guys like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, they were the guys who they said opened the floodgates for the smaller guys. But the thing is, you look at guys like Sami Zayn and you look at guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and you notice a big difference. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk seem to understand how to work a crowd and how to kind of do things where they don't just seem like a bunch of indie motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? While everybody else just doesn't get it. They understand what it means to be on a main stage, is basically what I'm trying to say, while the others just don't have such a seamless transition. It's just me. Maybe it's just me. I see a magic with Bryan. I see a magic with Punk that other people probably just don't see. And it's your favorites. It's subjective, whatever it is. So, basically, there's going to be people. There's even smart marks out there who don't like Bryan because they prefer others. They think the other wrestlers are better workers or whatever. They think Samoa Joe is more worthy than Daniel Bryan. Whatever the case may be, whatever you think it is. But I just see it differently. So they go ahead, they do this little feud and everything, and whatever. The promo's fine and all that. I would have liked to see a bit better verbiage, but whatever. So then they go ahead and have The Miz do this annoying thing where there's like a bunch of babies on screen crying. And I was like, oh my God. Holy mackerel. Oh, why? Why would they do that? What an loud, annoying sound. And not only that, like, this is the best that, like, this reminds me of Cody Rhodes and The Big Show, which a lot of times I've come back to in reviews and talked about, like, how that was a really bad build when they had, like, Big Show and Cody Rhodes. Like, it was back in 2012 leading up to WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes would play all these, like, embarrassing Big Show WrestleMania moments, like, where he lost or, like, he was, wrestling Aki Bono or whatever in the sumo match, and they played like these, funny, like cartoonish sound effects. And I'm just kind of like, it's like they couldn't be bothered to really like get this match over and build it up through their words, so they had to resort to like a funny video, like he's on like Tosh.0 or something like that, where they have to like cut to some skit. Like, okay, first of all, it's like, so what did The Miz have, I was reading this, actually. Wade Keller even said that I actually, on the rare occasion, agreed with Wade Keller this week. The Miz had, like, this presentation standing by, so it's like, what, he work out a deal with the production crew? Oh, you're going to play this video, just wait for it on this mark. Wait till Bryan says this. It's like, like, talk about really suspending your disbelief. I realize it's just a show, but this is ridiculous. And plus, the segment wasn't even good. So it's not even worth suspending my disbelief because it was so fucking horrible. And it was hard to listen to. I mean, why did they go with babies crying? Because of Monroe Sky? He was trying to illustrate the point that Bryan is a crybaby. So, like, he couldn't just, like, illustrate that with his words. He had to, like, actually, like, literally illustrate it, like, with a video. I just thought this was ridiculous. I thought it was annoying. I thought it marred the feud. I was like, after this, I'm like, oh, God, like, this is what they came up with? They waited all these years to, like, get Bryan and The Miz into a position where they could actually have a real feud, where they're actually going to eventually wrestle each other at a big pay-per-view. This is the best that they could come up with. This is the best that they could come up with. After years of having time to think about this, if in the event if Bryan gets cleared that we could have this feud, they didn't have something ready to go, they were just like, let's do this. Monroe Sky babies? Oh yeah, let's just find some random baby clips on YouTube and just like fucking download them and just put them in a little montage. Brilliant. Then in the main event, it was Charlotte defeating Carmella to earn a #1 contender spot. They made like Becky Lynch was jealous backstage, and there you go. So champion loses again. Why not? Beat the champion to earn a spot to face the champion. Like, why wasn't she just awarded the belt right there? I don't know why they do this. Like, they give away the match, like, by build. This is supposed to be the build up, but they've already given away the match. We've already seen the match, so why do I want to watch it again? And it's not the first time they've done this. They've done this many, many times. Why would I want to see it again? You've already shown it to me. All right, great. It wasn't even that great of a match to begin with, so why do I want to see it? Not only that, but we've already seen this match 2 times, or now we've seen it 3 times. Now we're going to watch it 4 times. It's like they go around in circles, this company. And it's like they have no idea just how horrible they are. Or they just do and they don't care. I don't know what it is. Good job, Fox. This is what you're purchasing right here. You take a look. You got a good look at this show right here. You saw everything that took place. You saw how just so fantastic this show was. This is what you paid $1 billion for. This is what you signed your name on the dotted line on this contract. You're buying this show right here. This is the show you're getting. I don't know if you think they showed you an episode of SmackDown from 1999 or something like that, and you thought you were getting that greatness. No, you're getting this right here. This is the show that you're purchasing. The show that you just watched. The show that I reviewed. That's what you're getting right here. That's what you paid that hard-earned money for. You paid all those hundreds of millions of dollars that add up to $1 billion, and this is what you're getting. This is this fine old product that you're getting. This is what you just purchased. Money well spent. Money well spent, I must say. Well, there you go, folks. There's your SmackDown review, and this has been your YWC champ. And I'm signing out.